just before evening settles over the cafe, when tables are still holding the warmth of the day, and light begins to soften at the edges, chairs cast longer shadows, and conversations slow without ending, as if the air itself is preparing for change. The river outside deepens in color, carrying the last reflections of daylight into something quieter, and everything feels like it is pausing without stopping. Before the evening took the table, everything still belonged to the day, and I sit here watching time shift its weight from one moment into another without sound. Glasses catch the last light, turning it into something softer, and voices become less defined, more like atmosphere than speech. The cafe does not close, but it begins to change shape. Maybe endings do not arrive suddenly. Maybe they arrive like this, slowly, without announcement. Before the evening took the tables, nothing was finished, yet everything was already becoming something else. And I understand that this is how time moves, when no one is watching closely enough to notice it leaving. And the evening arrives gently, taking nothing, only transforming everything. The sky above the river has no urgency left in it, only depth and stillness layered over movement. The water reflects it without copying it, as if translation is no longer necessary between them. The world feels wider here, but not louder, and silence feels like it stretches farther than sound ever could. The river under a quiet sky, where everything continues without needing direction. And I stand here not as someone watching it, but as someone briefly included in it. The cafe behind me is no longer the center of anything, but it still exists, holding the shape of everything that passed through it. The village feels like it is slowly dissolving into atmosphere rather than disappearing. Maybe nothing ends, maybe it only expands into something less visible. The river under a quiet sky, where presence does not require recognition. And I realize that being here is already enough. And the sky does not change, it simply continues. The river continues without hesitation, carrying everything without naming anything it holds. It does not distinguish between what was important and what was not, only between what moved through it and what did not. The village has become quieter in memory, but not in meaning. And it feels like silence has replaced explanation. The river that forgets nothing but says nothing, where memory has no voice. And I stand here understanding that knowing does not require expression. Even reflection feels optional now, like the river no longer needs to confirm what exists. Maybe truth does not speak, maybe it only continues. The river that forgets nothing but says nothing, where everything is held without announcement. And I realize that silence can contain everything without breaking. And the river keeps everything without speaking it. The river no longer changes in response to being seen or not seen. It flows in a state that is completely independent of observation, as if awareness has been gently removed from its structure without affecting its continuity. The village has become something that no longer frames it, only something that once passed through its edges without altering its direction. And it feels like perception is no longer part of movement. The river that moves beyond observation, where existence is no longer linked to being witnessed. And I understand that reality does not require awareness to persist. Light touches the surface without expectation of reflection. And even reflection itself feels unnecessary. Maybe being seen was never part of existence. Maybe it was only part of interpretation. The river that moves beyond observation, where everything continues without being confirmed. And I realize that what is real does not need to be recognized. And the river continues without needing to be seen. There is still a sound, but it no longer belongs to anything specific. It is not music, not speech, not movement, but something that remains after all of them have stopped trying to exist as separate things. It lingers in the space between thought and silence, and it feels like continuation without source. The sound that never fully left, where absence still carries vibration. And I realize that endings do not erase what they were made of. Even quiet feels like it is remembering itself here. Maybe sound never ends. Maybe it only stops needing form. The sound that never fully left, where everything continues in invisible resonance. And I understand that silence is not empty, but unfinished sound. And the sound stays without being heard. An old sailor sits by the dock, watching time move with the clock. His weathered hands hold memories of distant oceans and foreign seas. The harbor knows him by his name, The fishermen all do the same. For decades he has watched the tide and all the ships that passed by. The evening breeze begins to rise as sunlight fades from western skies, and somewhere from a nearby bar a trumpet sings beneath the stars. The sea has changed 1,000 times, but some old songs survive. The sailor's melody drifts across the evening sea, carried by the ocean wind, back to where it all begins. The sailor's melody lives in every memory, like a lighthouse in the night, guiding hearts with gentle light. He speaks of summers long ago, of moonlit bays and falling snow, of distant ports and dancing crowds, and music playing soft and loud. He tells of one forgotten face, a smile no years could quite erase, a love that waited by the shore, then disappeared forevermore. The harbor listens patiently as waves repeat the melody that echoes through the twilight air like a whispered prayer. The stars emerge above the bay as boats return from far away, and every lantern starts to shine like pieces of another time. The sailor smiles and closes his eyes, while memories drift across the sky, and every note the trumpet plays returns him to those days. The sailor's melody drifts across the evening sea, carried by the ocean wind, back to where it all begins. The sailor's melody will survive eternally, for the sea remembers every song and sings them all night long. The harbor sleeps beneath the stars, the sailor dreams of distant shores, and somewhere in the Mediterranean night his melody sails on. The river flows, but it no longer divides itself into moments or directions. It does not recognize before or after. only continuation without separation. The village no longer exists as a boundary along its path, only as a soft memory embedded within its motion. Even reflections lose their need to define what is present, because everything appears as part of the same continuous unfolding. And it feels like time has dissolved into flow itself. The river that no longer distinguishes time, where past and present exist as one uninterrupted movement. And I stand at its edge, understanding that time was never inside the river, but something we projected onto it. The surface of the water carries light without distinguishing whether it belongs to now or then, as if every second exists simultaneously in a softer structure of continuity. Maybe time was never linear. Maybe it was only the way we learned to notice change. The river that no longer distinguishes time, where everything exists in a single ongoing presence. And I realize that continuity is not movement through time, but time dissolving into movement. And the river continues without needing to measure itself. The village is quiet now, all movement gone into distance, but the river remains, as if it has never needed anyone to witness it in order to continue. That carries reflections of what was here earlier, not clearly, but enough to feel familiar. The cafe behind it is dark, holding its shape without sound, and somehow absence feels complete here. The river that stayed after everyone left, where nothing rushes to end or begin. And I stand at its edge, understanding that continuity does not depend on presence. Light from distant houses flickers across the water, not strong enough to define anything, only enough to suggest that life continues somewhere beyond sight. Maybe staying is not about remaining. Maybe it is about continuing when nothing is watching. The river that stayed after everyone left, carrying everything without asking to be remembered. And I realize that what matters most does not disappear, it simply stops needing attention. And the river keeps going long after the village becomes silent. The river reflects more than what stands above it. It reflects what is no longer here, what has already moved on, without leaving a clear shape behind. The surface is never still, yet it always feels consistent in its ability to remember without keeping. The village leans toward it, as if trying to see something that cannot fully be seen. And somehow even absence has a reflection here. The river reflecting things we lost, not as disappearance, but as transformation. And I stand at its edge, understanding that nothing is ever fully gone, only changed in the way it appears. Light breaks across the water in ways that never repeat exactly the same, and every moment feels slightly different, even when it seems identical. The cafe behind me continues its quiet rhythm, unaware of what I am seeing. Maybe loss is just another way of seeing the same thing differently. The river reflecting things we lost, where memory and water become indistinguishable. And I realize that even forgetting has its own kind of continuity. And the river keeps reflecting long after I stop watching. The tables in the cafe no longer hold conversations, only the faint impression that something once happened here. Cups are gone, chairs are still, but nothing feels empty, only softened by absence that no longer needs explanation. The river outside continues its movement, as if it has never been interrupted by human presence. And it feels like stories have stepped away without disappearing. The tables after the stories left, where meaning lingers without form, and I sit inside what remains, not trying to rebuild anything, because nothing is broken. Light moves across surfaces without urgency, and even shadows feel like they are resting instead of fading. Maybe stories do not end where they are told. Maybe they end where they are no longer needed. The tables after the stories left, where silence becomes the only narration. And I realize that what happened still exists, just no longer speaking. And the room keeps holding what is no longer said. The river no longer reflects just light, but traces of presence, as if it remembers the shape of everything that once stood near it, not as images, but as impressions that never fully disappear. The cafe, the tram stop, the village edges all feel present within it, and it feels like memory has become part of the water. The river that remembers the shape of us, where nothing is fully gone. And I stand here understanding that being seen is not required to be remembered. Even silence along the river feels structured, like it has its own continuity beneath the surface movement. Maybe we never left this place, Maybe we only changed how we exist inside it. The river that remembers the shape of us, where existence does not depend on presence. And I realize that everything we were still continues somewhere within it. And the river carries us forward without end. The river continues, but not as a narrative anymore. It no longer carries meaning, only movement. Stories that once gathered around it have dissolved into flow. The village is no longer a reference point, only distance that no longer matters. And it feels like meaning has stepped aside. The river without a story left, where motion exists beyond explanation. And I stand here without needing to interpret anything anymore. Even reflections feel unnecessary, as if the river has moved beyond needing to describe itself. Maybe stories were never inside the river. Maybe they were only passing through it. The river without a story left, where everything continues without narration. And I understand that existence does not require meaning, and the river flows without telling anything. The river no longer behaves like something located within geography or time. It does not begin at a source or end at a destination in any meaningful sense anymore, because both concepts feel like interpretations imposed from outside its continuity. It flows as though it has already been flowing, without origin or conclusion. The cafe, the village, and the tram lines that once traced human movement along its edges now feel like temporary patterns that briefly appeared on its surface before dissolving back into the same uninterrupted motion. Even light no longer reflects as separation between object and environment, but as participation in the same ongoing state. And it feels like place has dissolved into continuity. The river that no longer belongs to time or place, where movement exists without coordinates. And I understand that what we call location is only a temporary way of describing flow. Even memory feels unable to anchor itself here, not because it is absent, but because it cannot distinguish where to attach anymore. Maybe time and place were only frameworks for understanding movement. Maybe movement was always primary. The river that no longer belongs to time or place, where everything exists without reference point. And I realize that continuity does not require a position in order to be real. And the river continues without belonging anywhere.
There is a stranger who sits by the river without ever seeming to arrive or leave, as if the act of being here is not connected to time at all. He watches the water with a stillness that does not ask questions, and the river responds only by continuing its movement without explanation. People pass behind him, but none of them interrupt the shape of his silence. It feels like he is listening to something that is not being spoken out loud. And somehow it feels like he already knows what the river will say. The stranger who watched the river all day does not move with the hours. He moves with something deeper and slower. And the river does not reflect him clearly. It only continues around him, as if recognizing that some presences are meant to stay undefined. Afternoon light shifts across his shoulders, but he does not react. Even shadows seem to pass through him rather than around him. The cafe behind him fills and empties again, but he remains part of neither moment. It feels feels like he is waiting for something that is already happening. The stranger who watched the river all day becomes part of the river without entering it. And I cannot tell if he is remembering something or forgetting something slowly, only that the water seems to understand him in a way I do not. Maybe he is not watching the river at all. Maybe the river is watching him back in a language that does not need movement. The stranger who watched the river all day fades into the rhythm of water and light, and nothing about him ends. It only becomes part of the landscape that continues without noticing. And the river keeps flowing as if he was always there.
There is a street where even time seems to slow its pace, not because it is tired, but because nothing here demands urgency anymore. The cafe lights glow softly against evening air, and the river nearby reflects the street like a second, quieter version of reality. Everything feels slightly delayed, as if the world is remembering itself in real time. And it feels like even movement has learned patience here. The street where even time walks slowly, where nothing rushes to become something else. And I find myself moving inside that rhythm without resistance, as if speed has lost its meaning. Footsteps echo gently, then dissolve before they become distance. The air carries traces of music that is no longer being played, but still feels present. Maybe slowness is not absence of time. Maybe it is time finally understanding itself. The street where even time walks slowly, where everything continues without urgency. And I realize that nothing is late, nothing is early. Everything is simply here, and the street keeps moving without ever hurrying. Every evening at 9:30, the coastal train rolls down the line, past lemon groves and ancient towns, where church bells softly sound. The passengers look out the glass as moonlit harbors slowly pass, their reflections mixing with the stars and distant fishing bars. The rhythm of the wheels below becomes a song they seem to know, a melody of roads and dreams and moonlit silver streams. The sea runs parallel tonight, like a ribbon made of light. The train beyond the sea carries all my memories through forgotten summer nights and villages of light. The train beyond the sea sings its endless melody, rolling through the moonlit coast toward the dreams I miss the most. The stations come and disappear like moments from another year. A cafe glowing in the dark, a lonely harbor park. An old man reads beside the aisle, a young girl quietly smiles, while somewhere farther down the train a musician hums a refrain. Outside the moon reflects below upon the waves that gently flow, and every passing harbor light feels warm against the night. How many hearts have traveled here through love and hope and passing years? How many stories cross these rails beneath the moonlit sails? The sea remembers every face, every journey, every place, and carries them beyond the shore forevermore. The train beyond the sea, carries all my memories, through forgotten summer nights and villages of light. The train beyond the sea like a song that never ends, beyond the horizon bend. The whistle fades into the dawn, the coastline stretches on and on, and somewhere by the sea another journey begins. There is a sound that is not a sound, but a gradual softening of everything that once felt distinct. Voices, footsteps, music, even thought, all begin to lose their edges and become part of the same quiet texture. Nothing disappears, it only becomes less defined. And it feels like the world is slowly letting go of sharpness. The sound of everything becoming softer, where boundaries dissolve into atmosphere. And I sit inside that fading clarity, not needing anything to stay fixed. Even memory feels less like recall and more like warmth spreading through space. Maybe softness is the final form of understanding. Maybe everything ends by becoming gentle. The sound of everything becoming softer, where nothing breaks but everything transforms. And I realize that disappearance can feel like peace, and everything continues in softer form. There is a silence that no longer feels empty, as if it has learned how to recognize presence without needing sound. It sits inside the cafe, inside the river, inside the space between moving thoughts, and it no longer behaves like absence. Even when nothing happens, it feels like something is still happening gently underneath. And it feels like silence has finally become aware of itself. The silence that learned your name, where quiet is no longer blank, but full of remembering and I sit inside it without resisting, because even stillness feels alive now. The air does not shift loudly anymore. It only changes state slowly, like time dissolving into something softer than time itself. Maybe silence was never empty. Maybe it was always listening. The silence that learned your name, where everything unspoken continues to exist. And I realize that even what was never said still remains, and the silence keeps remembering without sound. The river no longer feels like movement alone, but like something that has learned how to be quiet without stopping. It flows with a softness that feels almost like listening. The village is no longer defined by sound, only by what the river continues to carry. And it feels like silence has entered the water. The river that learned to be quiet, where motion becomes gentle enough to disappear into itself. And I stand here understanding that flow does not need noise to exist. Even ripples feel restrained, as if the river is no longer trying to show anything, only to continue. Maybe quiet is not absence. Maybe it is refinement of movement. The river that learned to be quiet, where everything continues without announcement. And I realize that stillness is just motion without urgency. And the river keeps being quiet as it moves. The river flows differently now, not because it has changed, but because there is nothing left to compare it against. It no longer reflects faces or places, only movement itself. The village has faded into something beyond recognition, but the water remains unchanged in its quiet persistence, and it feels like reflection is no longer necessary. The river that no longer reflects us, where identity dissolves into flow. And I understand that seeing ourselves was never required for the river to continue. Even light feels less defined here, as if it has let go of trying to describe anything. Maybe recognition was never the point. Maybe movement was always enough. The river that no longer reflects us, where everything continues without acknowledgement. And I realize that existence does not require recognition. And the river moves on without looking back.